Namaskar everyone and welcome to the 10th Elets Knowledge Exchange Summit and Awards, which is a 3-day virtual conference being organized by Elets Technomedia Private Limited. So this is the 10th edition that we are organizing virtually, and we have a very good panel discussion now. That topic is technological innovations in governance, learning from the crisis. And we have been joined by a very eminent panelist. I would like to introduce Mr. K. Muhammad Vai Safirullah. He's Additional Secretary, Electronics and IT Department, Government of Kerala. We also have with us Mr. Lalit Jain. He's Director of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Department, Government of Himachal Pradesh. On the screen, we also have with us Mr. S.K. Basu. He is Advisor, Government and BFSI Practices, Team Computers. We shall also be joined by Dr. B. Sundar, Special Secretary, IT, Electronics and Communication Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh, in the middle of the panel discussion. So as the topic suggests, we are going to discuss about the technological innovations in governance, and the world is reeling under COVID crisis. So what are the learnings and way ahead after this COVID-19? So to begin with, I'll request all the panelists to please share your opening remarks. To begin with, I would request Mr. K. Muhammad Vai Safirullah, Additional Secretary, IT, Government of Kerala. Your views, sir, about the topic. Over to you.
Hello, Arprit. Hello, esteemed panel members. Good afternoon. At the outset, I'd like to thank Elets for the opportunity. I'd like to share three thoughts on this occasion. One is about digital transformation. Earlier, we have seen that IT department or various departments used to give a lot of thrust to digital transformation, either in the form of e-governance or other online delivery of services. Now, because of the COVID in 2020, there is a huge demand for the e-governance services. Earlier, it was more supply-driven. Now, there is no huge demand-driven need for the services. Not only in government sector, but if you see across the board in PSUs, in private sector, there is a huge movement for digital transformation. I see this as a massive opportunity in a country like ours in the way that the services can be delivered. So that's the first point I'd like to talk about. The second is about the access issues. When we talk about digital governance, digital transformation, the logical continuity is that there should be a presence of very high-level connectivity, high-level broadband in both rural and urban areas. We have in India a very good level of broadband. If you speak about Kerala, when we talk about the rural connectivity broadband levels, we have high level of broadband, high-speed broadband. However, when we compare the rural and urban areas, in my view, there is a divide which still exists in the level of quality of internet availability. And this is there across our country too. So the second point is that about the access, that is the connectivity to these services is very important. The national level government of India has brought in ambitious national broadband vision, and through the BharatNet and the erstwhile national optic fiber network, a lot of connectivity upgradation has been done. The state of Kerala also, we have the ambitious Kerala fiber optic network, KFON, which envisages a dedicated connectivity of high-end broadband through optic fibers to all the 30,000 offices, and over a period of time we may extend it to the households also on a subsidized basis. So the second thing is about access. In these testing times, we have to look at the access as a major dimension. The third and I would say the most important dimension is about the digital literacy. It is not only access and the transformation, but also the capability of the citizens to use these services. In many places, we find that there is an access to internet and other services. However, the citizens rely on other means to access these services. So that is where the importance of the common service centers, the CSCs. In Kerala, we have the Akshaya centers, which work as a common service centers, and other internet centers also, which provide these services. That has a lot of value. But it is important in the long term we give a lot of thrust to the digital literacy, so that all the citizens are at an even level, and we reduce or eliminate the digital divide, which is going to be a major factor. So in my initial remarks, I would like to talk about these three. I'd like to bring to attention these three aspects. One is about the digital transformation, the fast-paced digital transformation which is happening now. The second is about access, bringing equity in rural and urban areas to the access to internet connectivity. Third one is about digital literacy or e-literacy, making each and every citizen capable of accessing these services. I feel these three are very pivot when we move forward as a nation. Thank you, Arpit.
It seems we have lost connection with Arpit. But Arpit, yes, you just went off the screen.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Lalit Jain. He has rich experience in urban and rural domain both, and currently he is director of rural development and Panchayati Raj department. So what are your views about the topic, sir? Over to you.
Good afternoon, friends. I hope I am clearly audible to you all, and there is no
Yes, sir.
disturbance. Okay. Yeah. See, now I work in a very different setting because Himachal Pradesh is a Himalayan territory where we are nestled in the highest mountains of the world, and especially in the backdrop of COVID as well as generally for hilly terrains. I think the only solution for good governance lies in IT. Having said that, it's very simple to uh, talk about IT, but very difficult when it comes on the ground. As my colleague said, that unless and until one has a broadband connectivity, the goal of having governance in connection with IT at grassroots level will always remain a dream. I think there should be more emphasis from the side of the government to take broadband at the remotest possible level, wherever it is not possible to take wide broadband. So whatever alternatives are there, whether by satellite and all. And above all, the broadband has now is like a right. Just as we have right to food, we have ration shops, we have rationing and other things associated. I think government needs to heavily cross-subsidize broadband so that every person, just like a child is born and he's taken to a primary school, likewise, broadband should be as easy and as routine as much as possible. And it should be very essential that broadband is there in every household. Today we have mobile phones which are available with every section of the population, and more so that we not only have mobile phones but smartphones available. The only issue becomes connectivity. From my own experience in hilly areas, the connection, the internet connections are very unreliable. We need to invest in improving those. And once we do that, then make sure that we start putting a lot of services which are only and only available online. In case we have service which is also available online and offline, so then again it is not successful. For example, record of rights is there. Now, supposing a state has digitalized its records of rights to 100%, I think there is no need of then having physical records. You need to accept that that particular subject matter or service will only be available online. It is then that citizens, they know that they have a compulsion and they have to go online only to get them. Of course, there can be network of common service centers which serve as a point of reference in the panchayat level. But for a hilly state like Himachal Pradesh, sometimes within a panchayat itself, for traveling from one corner to another, it takes hours because one corner of the panchayat may be sitting on a hill, and another corner may be sitting on a hill which is on the other side. So CSCs, of course, have to be there. They should have to be open as much as possible. But again, for a hilly terrain like Himachal, the buzzword and the key would be that there should be a smartphone in everybody's hand, and there should be a broadband connectivity at the household level. Whether you come up with a mechanism where your normal cable television also has a broadband, that is FTTH or whatever name it is called. So that can come a long way. But yes, without broadband, IT will be always a dream. Then, of course, there is a need of integration. Today, we have so many sites, so many places where services are provided. There's a lot of cobwebs, of IT which are going on. So the integration of various websites, services is very, very important. And a sense of genuineness is very important, whether the transaction is genuine or not, especially because IT involves finances. I think the incidences of frauds by IT in financial sector have assumed a burgeoning proportion. We really need to sit and sort this out so that it does not lead to loss of savings of innocent citizens. In COVID, of course, we have seen the prowess of IT. It is only because of IT we were able to work in government, whether it is signing of documents, whether it is holding of meetings via video conferencing, which we never thought of in government earlier. Earlier, the IT department was always talk about digital signatures, push government officials towards it. Nobody took it seriously. Once we had COVID, now everybody is signing documents digitally. We realize that it is the digital media which is cheaper, which is faster, more convenient, more reliable. So COVID has made a sea change in governance, and it is precisely because we were already good in IT that we were able to do something. I think that's all from my side in opening remarks. Uh, I finished my opening remarks, please. I finished my opening remarks. Can you hear me?
Arpit?
Thank you, sir. For the opening remarks, now I would request Mr. S.K. Basu to please say a few words about the topic and what does he feel, what are the learnings from the crisis, and what are the technical advancements that he, as a industry representative, would like to see in the government sector. Over to you, Mr. Basu.
So, Rajiv, I am all through IT for a long, long time. Okay.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Now, see, couple of good things
Am I
our
audible?
country. Yeah, you are audible.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, I am audible. Hello, hello. You are able to hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, okay. See, couple of good things in our country has happened last 2-3
Am I
decades. If
audible?
you could, yeah,
Yeah,
Arpit.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you
If
for
you,
sharing your thoughts. Now, for the opening remarks, I would request Mr. S. Basu.
yeah, 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 Arpit. So, a couple of good things has happened in our country last 2-3 decades because there are a lot of work in the IT and automation has happened in our country. If you look at, we have implemented as a country lot of mission mode projects in central government, in state governments, like in central government, Passport Seva, MCA 21, in state government, E-Code, BDS system. So, lot of mission mode project under any GP got implemented in our country. Common Service Center got implemented. Initially, there was inhibition. Then people have started going to CSC. A lot of state governments started delivering services through CSC. So we have gone through that phases last 10 to 15 years. And so our IT backbone is very strong. Our connectivity except the hilly area and some part of northeast is slightly weak. And I think on the BharatNet and all, they're trying to connect this with the fiber and with the last mile to increase the connectivity to them. And one another two three good thing is our smartphone penetration is one of the highest. Similarly, the internet connectivity. Also, the app usage is quite high in our country. More almost all app given by government or other agencies, people are able to download on smartphone. And due to smartphone, even rural population are able to use a smartphone because this needs common sense, doesn't need any training. So any application government implements and push it through mobile, people are able to use. Now, as Safiullah ji told, before COVID, there are a lot of government still services people have to go to their offices, although the applications are there. But COVID has taught us how to work remotely. Like for my example, last 8, 9 months, I am working from home and I'm able to transact all my businesses across the country. So people, this COVID as a challenge, and they fought it rightly. We had all facilities in the country to work from anywhere. Government, most of the services are automated. It is available on a net. It is available on a mobile app. So, as far as our country goes, we are well equipped to handle such situations, and we have handled it quite nicely. Even COVID as a challenge, we have handled through automation. That is a major contribution of managing COVID across country. I think we as a nation are ready to face any challenge, and IT backbone is created, and this will help us to go forward. One thing I wanted to just touch upon with Safrullah ji told digital literacy. Yes, to some extent, digital literacy has to be given to some section of people so that they also come on board and use these facilities on a day-to-day life.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. You rightly said about digital literacy. So my question to next question is to Mr. Safirullah only. And sir, when we are talking about going digital, then it requires a lot of skill development, and digital literacy plays a very vital role over here. So how government of Kerala is looking at making Keralite digitally literate so that they can uh, avail the all the online services, e-services, and also what is the strategy to train the government machinery, because they also need some kind of training and capacity building when it comes to implement e-governance and IT projects.
Uh, in Kerala, the massive digital literacy program called Akshaya started in the year 2002. It was started by late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and it was one of its kind in India. In the next 6 years, that is between 2002 to 2008, the entire state of Kerala became digitally literate. The idea was two, three major objectives of the project was to enable the citizens use the internets, the basics of computers, and how do they approach the common service centers for e-governance. After 2008, these digital literacy centers were converted as common service centers called Akshaya centers, which was modeled for CSE across our country too. So that was the first intervention as far as e-literacy or digital literacy is concerned. Over a period of time, government of Kerala continued with its efforts to make the citizens digitally literate. And right now, through panchayats, through the municipalities and corporations, that is through the local self-government, many interventions were done. Now, to give importance and push to e-governance and IT adoption, it was also mandated that 2% of the entire budget spent by any LSGD or the department in its overall schedule has to be towards IT. So these are the major interventions which was done, and now we have schemes like digital literacy, digital virtual IT cadre, or online training, which started much before this COVID times in 2016-17, online certification programs, and yeah, so these were all there in various forms to give the push in government and also to common citizens about digital literacy.
Yes, yes. And we have seen that when we did good events in Kerala, and we actually realized how Kerala government is looking at making Kerala and Kerala people digitally literate, and what the status of the IT projects then. Mr. Basu, how has the shift to digital played a significant role in reshaping the functioning of the government in India? From industry perspective, what do you feel? You are mute, sir.
See, as I given a background, uh, as far as our country, we have the highest penetration of mobile, internet, and application download. So these are the three things are good things happened in our country, and thus backbones are created. Now the all the technologies are available in our country. Now the type of projects we have initiated, UIDI, we have already registered UIDI users almost 125 crore. Almost 90% people have a bank account. So all the basic things we have implemented. We have done GST so that multiple tax regime is gone. Lot of services from state government, lot of application is already implemented, and more it is getting implemented. what what I see, still a section of people still wanted to go to physically government offices, which should be encouraged to do through remotely, through network, through net, through mobile, so that two things happen when we do all services digitally. Two things happen. One, you don't spend so much of energy and productive time going to various government department and follow up things. You save time, and for the lower strata of people, every day or every hour saved is every couple of hundred rupees, their earning is increased. So they can, and at a remote place sitting, they can get their job done. So that's the beautiful. You don't come into any corruption which may be there in various places. You don't come and counter that because everything is done electronically. So these are the advantage this is giving. Second, if you look at COVID period, almost 70 to 80% of ITITS and finance and some other sectors are working from home, and it is possible to transact a lot of commercial transactions through sitting at home. It gives advantages that he is able to do the business sitting at home. You saves petrol, you saves traffic things. So there are indirect benefit to the society when this type of technological things are used more and more by people. So I feel IT plays a major role, and it is playing a major role in our day-to-day life. And this should continue. This should be encouraged. And the current government is encouraging a lot of IT initiative in central government departments, in state government departments. A lot of budgets have been given. People are encouraged. I think that's the right way to go for it.
Rightly said, Mr. Basu. Since healthcare is the talk of the town these days, and a lot of technological interventions are happening in healthcare sector, and Mr. Safirullah is also handling e-health project. He is involved in that project, so we would request him to please shed some light on the e-health project of government of Kerala and what kind of IT implementation has been done over there.
E-health is an ambitious project of government of Kerala in association with government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT, government of India, to create electronic health records for its citizens. The project started in 2016, and this has an integrated module wherein from the public health side, that is the citizens' data, the health data is taken, and we have the hospital management system, which includes both the outpatient and inpatient module, and also the specialist modules that we are trying to build over a period of time. We right now the e-health system is in about 150 health institutions, government institutions in the state of Kerala, and we are planning to expand it to about 500 by end of this financial year. So we have been able to go the next step as far as digital transformation in health is concerned in Kerala. But I would have to admit that we are a long way from where ideally we need to be, because the idea is there's a in government we have departments working in silos. So the need for integration of data and to create that data platform foundation is very important. And we believe through this intervention or through e-health, we'll be able to create that platform at least in the health department, and with the use of new technologies like using the data, mining the data, we'll be able to form trends which will be helpful in policy making, and at the same time identify things like, for example, the infection spread using the GAS mapping, trying to identify the root cause analysis through various AI technologies which are available in the market. So this is an effort towards that direction, and we have a long way to go. And we have electronic health records which are systemically done. And as I said, we are trying to expand this to about 500 institutions, and every day about 5,000, 6,000 new registrations are done in this 150 odd hospitals. And we are happy about the progress. I'm sure this would be the next step in health governance.
Sir, you talked about data analytics, use of other technologies. So, where does emerging technologies like AI, cloud, ML, these plays in the overall governance system?
When we talk about things like cloud is actually almost a decade old since it was introduced in the government. We had in 2013-14 various state data centers where cloud was implemented, where it was a private cloud basically for the provision of e-government services. Kerala was one of the pioneer in adopting cloud in its data centers. So the idea was to create a cloud pool of servers. So individual departments need not, go around procuring servers or creating a software ecosystem for having a simple thing like a website. And at the same time, the infrastructure support, which includes security, is provided through the data center. So the departments need to bother only about the functional aspects of their solutions. And we had huge success. In fact, I feel the entire country, in all the state data centers, there was a huge success. Even NIC in its NIC cloud in Delhi, it was a major success. So now the aspect new technologies other than cloud, which are used is one, for example, the analytics which are used is mostly after the GST, the analysis of tax evasion, finding out patterns and addressing this particular tax evasion and the remedial actions. So GST, I feel the across the country, analytics has been used to a large extent. Now we have blockchain, which is creating waves. Blockchain again, digital ledger technology (DLT) was there for a long time, about a couple of decades. But its interest has increased with the advent of the bitcoins and currencies like Ethereum ecosystem. I feel blockchain offers a lot of potential, particularly in financial areas, where this system of trust deficit between buyer and seller is there. So there is a lot of innovation which is possible in this particular areas, and I feel as a part of Atmanirbhar project, drive by government of India and the state governments, we have a long way to go in hardware ecosystem also. Right now, for example, most of the computer assemblies are done outside the country, and we don't have any hardware manufacturing unit in our country, though we are an IT superpower. So I think in hardware areas we have a long way to go, and that gives new areas for IoT and or IoT, where we can leverage our strength in human resources tools.
Very well said. We should definitely leverage this uh, uh, technological thing, that we should get into hardware manufacturing sector, and we can look at this perspective as well when we are talking about self-reliant or Atmanirbhar India, Bharat. So coming to Mr. Basu. Mr. Basu, I'll take the same question to you. Uh, when we talk about artificial intelligence and emerging technologies like that, so how can the adoption of emerging technologies, you feel, that prove to be the game changer in India's digital transformation journey? And where does a public-private partnership role come in?
Okay. I just touch base as I continue to Safirullah's observation. I just touch base on the cloud part of it. See, cloud as a technology and a initiative started in this country around 20 years back. People believe on cloud was very less. We were promoting cloud in the marketplace as an IT company, so people are very afraid that my data, I am not sure whether it will be secured on a cloud. So the people started thinking on that. Then slowly corporate sector started using cloud on non-essential application and data. Slowly last 12 years, we found a lot of PSU governments are using cloud. So cloud penetration has increased. Government has a policy of any project goes, so first is cloud. That means the question, you put it on the note sheet or the file, that have you explored cloud? Can you do it through cloud? If not, give reasons, then we'll allow you to buy assets. So that has been already implemented in various government machinery and departments. So cloud usage has gone up drastically. NIC has a Megaraj cloud for last 2 decades. Reltel has a cloud. A lot of other PSU has a cloud, and companies, banks, insurance companies are creating their private cloud also within the company, and also they are using public cloud, either NIC government cloud or public cloud like Microsoft Azure or Google. There are people are using public cloud. So slowly, cloud has come to a stage. People believe now that yes, my data is secured on a cloud. I can put the data on a cloud and do my business. What people as a technologically we were working, how to secure the data more and more. So a lot of implementation are going on in the cyber security area, so that customers and people data is secure. So a lot of implementation of security functionality is going on in each cloud data center, including Amazon, who is a big public cloud provider. In terms of artificial intelligence, machine language, blockchain, all these three, AI was there for a long, long time. The recent couple of years, people are talking blockchain, machine language, and all. They're in the same area of technology implementation. In AI, using machine language, you can do a lot of application, emergency security services for criminal investigation. People use hotspot analysis. People use crime analysis. That means if Kerala police or Karnataka police, there are crimes happening. Now they take the crime data and analyze and find, is there a relation or a pattern of a crime from X to Y to Z. So people can use this technology to adopt, to understand, and then they understand a particular crime happens in certain area between night 8 to 12. Now, if that insight comes to police or the crime branch, then they can do policing better in those locations at that point of time. So, preemptive, predictive policing, traffic management, like artificial intelligence, if you have the data of vehicle movement, signal system, and the traffic flow, you can decide which at which time of the day traffic on certain junction will be higher while it is lower. And if you have an automatic signal system, you can align your signal system to the traffic flow so that the waiting time per signal is less and driving time from X to Y is more. So artificial intelligence, machine language is a huge application at anything, health sector, you take security, you take manufacturing, you take pharma, retail, everything. Like even analytics comes with that. Like some people are telling, I can do predictive analysis on my baby, which is getting born couple of months down the line by analyzing parents' behavior, parents' medical data, and predict how the baby will be in terms of various parameters. So artificial and blockchain, like Safrullah ji told, blockchain is one of the major primary area is international trade settlement. So blockchain reduces from 8 to 10 days of international trade settlement to 1 to 2 days, because whatever you do, it is transparent, available, and your seller buyer can have a look at the contract on the fly, modify on the fly, negotiate, and after 3 days, the settlement is done. So artificial intelligence, machine language, analytics, blockchain, and there is a huge impact this can provide for a country, for citizen. Only thing is we have to think the application, proper usage, and the availability of data and connectivity of data, like Mr. Safarullah has told, because a lot of data is available, but connectivity. Now I say one small example. In every city and a state, every individual has a property, has some vehicle, has some business, has some other important information. Now, because almost everything is getting connected, now if I have 5 property, I am giving a tax of 5,000. So that means there is some problem. Either it's undervalued or I am not declared. Now, when the databases are connected, you get everything of an individual or a corporate connected. So you cannot bid the government that you have to pay proper tax, you have to pay proper everything, because everything is connected. If you are a rich man, 100 crore net worth, and you are not paying tax, or you are not paying something, that means you have done something wrong with the system. Now, all those things can be surfaced, and he can be sent a notice from government that you have a bungalow of 10,000 square feet and your electricity bill is 10,000 rupees a month. How can it be? It has to be 50,000 or 1 lakh per a month. So if consumer databases are connected, government has a role to play and maximize revenue, reduce non-compliance by the citizen. So there are various ways this technology can be used. And I think I was listening to a debate in one of the news channel. In the AI, I think India is very much ahead of doing research, finding applications, and even utilizing it. So we should really we can use this technology with a greater advantage. That's what I feel.
Yes, definitely we can use such kind of technologies for and leverage the advantages. And you touched upon one very important topic, that is cybersecurity. So let's go back to Mr. Safirullah. Sir, what is the strategy and roadmap of Kerala government to enhance the cybersecurity posture in the era of digital India, when a lot of IT projects and digital programs are happening. So cases of cyber theft and cyber security is also very important. So we would like to understand how Kerala government is tackling this issue.
Uh, Cybersecurity is a evolving problem. The more e-governance and more we become open on the internet side, cybersecurity issues would continue to grow. Earlier, we used to have the issue of hacking and the page. What do we say? Spoiling a page and things like that. Nowadays, I think the major issue is about securing the data, because data is the resource on which everything is built. And data over a period of time has become more sensitive when we talk about financial data, or Aadhaar related data, or maybe health related data. These are all sensitive data as per the data security draft bill also. So therefore, protecting data becomes very important. Now, data is at various stages. One, once it reaches a data center, obviously, yes, we are better ready and better prepared to save the data. But we have to look at data flow at various points, from the moment a customer enters in a system, the moment that is moving into the our servers and things like that. So that is one dimension of it. The second dimension of it is when we go towards e-education, e-health. It is important to protect the citizens also from the misuse. There is more cyber theft, online phishing, and all these aspects which are going on. So that is where the importance of the digital literacy also, which comes up. Yes, the government and systems are trying to do their best to protect all the things, but it is equally important that the citizens are also aware and take remedial steps, so that they themselves are able to identify the threats and take preventive actions. So, to summarize, the response is twofold. One, at the government level, is about the infrastructural protection, both at the application and at the data center level. And the second dimension or the intervention would be at the level of citizens to enable them to protect themselves, be aware. Thank you.
Yes, I think uh, be aware is the phrase that we should keep in mind. And here comes a question from the audience. I would like to ask to you, sir, how do you see the government, industry, and civil society work together to create a responsible and secure tech ecosystem?
It's a good question. I feel it's a PPP model that we are trying to work on, the public-private partnership. Yes, government and the various organs of government are doing their best. They will continue to do. But the second and most important dimension, as we are talking about, is the role of civil society. In Kerala, for example, if I need to give an example, there are a few resident associations which are active in e-governance sphere. Government does some sort of funding and encouragement, but otherwise these resident associations go to the customers, that is the citizens, and make them aware about e-governance activities, and at the same time take remedial actions, and help them get equipped against saving themselves from the cyber frauds and all. That is one. Second thing, now we need to look at IT education and cyber education as a part of curriculum at the student level itself. In Kerala, in early 2000, we had a project called IT at School, where instead of treating IT and all the online literacy as a separate module, government started introducing that as a curriculum itself. So the children who finished plus two almost a decade back, everyone is aware about these basic things. So I would like to say that as a civic society, it's important that this, the issue of security particularly, starts getting fed from the school level itself. And there we have a few models with reputed companies in Kerala, leading companies in India. We have a model of again PPP, where the software consultants from these companies go to the government schools, and we have the project called E-Jagrata in Ernakulam, where I was there, where these consultants go on a weekly basis to these government schools and teach the students and the teachers also about various facets of this cyber security. And therefore, we had a healthy cooperation between the government, the corporate, and the civil society at large. Thank you.
Sir, again, one more question to you. Let's go back to 10 or 20 years ago when we used to hear IT implementation by only IT department. So IT and electronics and communication departments of states and government of India used to implement IT projects. But now the horizon has expanded, and almost all the departments have some or other kind of IT innovations and interventions. Let's say food department, they have EPOS, EPDS. When we talk about mining, so Kerala again is doing some excellent work. So from your point of view, what has been your experience as a collector when you were in Ernakulam, as a IT secretary when you are in IT department, and various other several posts, your assignments? What kind of penetration of IT have you seen in the government sector, and what are the gray areas where still you feel that is a lot more to be done, and where you can collaborate with IT private industries for these kind of to bridge the gap between the government and the industry?
See, in my view, IT is a service department. Ultimately, the domain or the functionality has to be owned by the respective department. That is one of the key areas which will define the success of the project. Actually, in any e-governance or IT project, technology is least of the worry. You know, the major worry is how the people will react, how are we going to train the people and the our own staff. So, in my view, it is prudent to consider any IT project as a change management project. You know, the change management from the side of the citizens, change management from the side of the staff. Once these two are addressed, then the project would be successful. As far as the technology is concerned, as you rightly said, the data protection, cyber security, there are technical people who are hardcore specialists who are ready to look into that. But the change management is something that, as far as staff is concerned, the management has to work with them, the way things has to be done, the daily routine, how it gets disturbed. We have to train them, and they would have to feel the benefit of the technology. And from citizen side, again, it is important. They would get the benefits as they, obviously they would save a lot of time and money in terms of the expenditure they have to incur while availing a service. For example, I'll give an example. While working in the district of Idukki, which is a hilly district in Kerala, people know it for Munnar and Tekadi Reserve and all. We were launching this e-district project. One service fee is some 10 rupees or something. This was 5-6 years back. When I was doing a calculation, actually to avail that this certificate, a citizen used to spend almost 1,000 rupees. The reason is, firstly, he has to apply for a half-a-day leave. It is a plantation area, so the work starts early in the morning. The plantation worker has to bunk half a day. The work starts early in the morning and finishes by 2. And therefore he loses that entire half a day work, and which is some 500-600 rupees. So he has to go and give an application, and once for a follow-up, and third time for a result. So he ends up losing at least 1.5 to 2 days of labor, and then obviously the transport charges. It is not that 10 rupees, which is a provision that government or the citizen is going to gain or lose, but it is actually 2 days labor and the physical, the effort which gets saved. So for a citizen, the return on investment or the return on e-governance activity is very, very multiple times higher. So that's why he doesn't really, in my view, really he's ready to pay 50 or 100 rupees also if you are ready to say that it will be e-delivered and he need not go anywhere else. So that is one. And second, again, I would say from my experience, e-governance has IT interventions have brought in a lot of level playing field for everyone. Like a citizen, you go to an office and ask patwari or village officer, please give me this certificate, you know. So there is a, question of hierarchy which comes in my view, right? So there is he or she goes and say, please give me the certificate. Why should a citizen request, right? He should demand. And therefore, once this e-governance is there, this changes the power equation. There is it becomes a legal right, right? Actually, in the rightful way. So these are the two things. One is that the flexibility and the return on purely economic terms for the citizen is much higher. Second, I feel that it has increased the status of citizens much more. Like I need not go to X number of government offices and ask, please sir, please madam, do this that. I can just have to pay my fees, whatever is determined by government, and avail the services. So these are the major reasons I feel people are also welcoming it, and I have seen from my limited experience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we have seen your work when you were mission director of Kerala IT mission, and you were collector in various districts. And you are that's why you are praised for your initiatives across Kerala. So I'll now wrap up the session with my last question to both the panelists. I think other panelists is not able to join due to his meeting. So, Mr. Basu, one question for you from the audience is there. We are seeing a mass adoption of technology like a hybrid cloud and emerging technology in improving the digital infra and enabling the vision for 2020. How do you see these playing a role in achieving the digital transformation vision of Government of India?
See, hybrid cloud, yes, cloud. There are two things. One is people do on-prem cloud, on-premise, then public cloud and hybrid. Either you can keep something on-prem, some important critical applications, while sensitive data you keep it on-prem and the balance on cloud. Now hybrid is it will become more popular. It will people will adopt hybrid more and more because any departments, any corporates or any other organization, there are some critical data, sensitive data, like in any consumer durable companies or pharmaceutical companies. Their R&D data, product related data is very critical. So they may feel shy to put it on cloud and they still keep it on premise, and all other applications can go on cloud. So hybrid is the way of the future, and people will adopt more and more hybrid. And I think government, in terms of digital initiative launch, I mean, we are doing a lot of things digitally, and a lot of applications, data will be put on cloud for government because it's a cost-effective media, and you save a lot of capex cost. You pay on a recurring cost. So as you earn, so you pay. So that is the facility for a cloud infrastructure used by any entity, whether it is state government, central government, corporate, MSME, or anybody. So that is why cloud is becoming more popular. It is now more robust. It is a lot of security has been built into the cloud, and more we are working on securing the government and public data. And another advantage of cloud, you see, if I have to launch, like Safrullah ji has to launch an application immediately, application is ready, and he wants to launch. Now, if he can go to cloud immediately, then he doesn't have to wait for computer assets buying, implementing, installing. That requires time. Then he has to go through a tender process, being in the government. So he can take the cloud route and load his application, implement, make it available to the citizen. So that's a huge advantage. It gives a speed. It gives a deployment strategy is very good. It gives you can meet your project timeline. And another advantage of cloud you get is you take some infrastructure on the cloud and you grow as the application grow. As the users grow, you can increase your infrastructure on the cloud. Sometimes peak load for any rainy season, or you get certain diseases occur much more than the normal time. That time the transaction increases, users increases, activity increases, so load on computer increases, load on data. So do you buy systems? No, go on cloud, take additional infrastructure. So cloud is becoming an essential part of strategy by government to implement their projects on time in a cost effective manner. And it speed up digital governance, and you can manage that. So the managing timeline, because everything in our country is to take a lot of time. Anything we think is to take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Now that time has reduced, and citizens are not ready to give government more time. They are telling you have infrastructure, you have money, you have people, you should implement faster and give me. They're demanding, like Safrullah told, that customers, citizens are demanding service. You have to give me that. Otherwise, what's the point of keeping a government? Yeah, government is kept for citizen. So that mentality has also changed. Last 10, 20 years, I met a lot of joint secretary, additional secretary, and all. They're all youngsters between 35 to 45 years. And I find they're so nice, young guys, and they're ready to implement, ready to do, ready to run, which is a very good thing in our country. All these government officers are very bright people, and they are dedicated working on various and that is why it is successful. You take Kerala, you take West Bengal, you take Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, so much of applications been implemented, and we are taking, including, it's a inclusion of society has happened, and it has to continue. You can't stop. It has to continue. Probably the area where we have to work more, in each state there is a remote rural population in each state. That reach has to be strengthened. I mean, one like mobile usage, like mobile van going to distance places with all services, with internet connectivity. On the spot, they are giving a lot of certificates, a lot of authorization to the villagers. So that sort of service is also some people have started, and some people have not started. Please go ahead and do it, because some population doesn't have a net, cannot come on a network. Now, how do you give service? Would you leave this 20 crore population in the country? No, we don't want to leave. So we put a mobile van service, go there, give the service once in fortnight, once in month. You go, take a couple of department people, which are matters to them, ration ho, कुछ birth certificate ho, कुछ health card ho, जो भी हो. So you go with those applications, be at the citizen and do it. And doorstep services. The people get delighted. That's what I tell. I mean, we have done a
Yes.
lot. We are still to do.
Yes. So, with the closing remark, I would ask the same question to Mr. Safirullah, sir. What should be the way forward for Indian IT ecosystem?
I feel we have a great positive story for two reasons. One, we have an excellent human resource. We have a young population who are ready and capable of going and capturing the world. We have our strengths in all the aspects of IT, in terms of software, hardware we are developing. So I see a great positive story ahead. And the only thing I see is that we have to keep investing on the youth of India and make them capable. And that is something that will fetch wonderful rewards for our nation. And investing in educational institutions, R&D spaces for in IT, and these are the things which will take forward. And one suggestion I had is, as far as the industry is concerned, we would have to move towards more R&D focused approach also, instead of services. And because once we get into R&D and start making products and branding them, that is where a lot of value addition is about. And I think with the base that we have developed in the services sector, we are well positioned. And once we do that, that is one gap which has to be addressed. We are well within going towards a wonderful future. So nothing more specific. It's a broad question on vision, but we are guided well by a lot of experts in various fields. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. With this, I close this session, and as a token of regard for two panelists, I would request to present digital certificates, my backend IT team. So, thank you, Mr. K. Muhammad Bai Safirullah, Additional Secretary, Electronics and IT Department, Government of Kerala. Thank you for joining the session.
Thank you.
I also thank Mr. S.K. Basu, Advisor, Government and BFSI Practices, Team Computers, for sharing his thoughts and putting up industry perspective in this very meaningful session. Thank you, all the panelists. And now we are moving on to the next session. With this, namaskar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.